battle system, I think it would have been great if we were exploring this ages ago, because it could be so much further along. But I don't know, the battle system looks really cool to me.
The thing that is developing in my mind, right? The thing that I'm most excited for is to experience all of these Pokemon, every single Pokemon that you know, right? Every Pokemon that you already know, like we're looking at Megas on the screen right now. Like, you've played with them in other games, but you've never played with those Pokemon in this game, where the way that we interact with those Pokemon and the way that we use those Pokemon to interact with the world is going to be completely different. So in a lot of ways, those Pokemon are inherently brand new. Like, beyond, like, without even needing a new evolution or mega or form, they're inherently going to be brand new experiences to use. Like I don't know. We saw like Chandelure before, and I'm like, yeah, I've used Chandelure, but like, what if it? No, actually, the example that I was thinking of was like using the Fennekin line, using Delphox, right? In this game, that I might love Delphox because it's actually going to function like a real mage, where it's keeping its distance, where it's casting spells, like range spells. That sounds so exciting, and never before have I ever been interested in Delphox, but that's got me excited.
Draco Meteor's going to go hard this game.
Yeah.
Say it again?
Draco Meteor's going to go so hard this game,
yes.
you know? Just the casting of meteors down on the opponent.
Yeah, but the thing is, you know that's going to spawn in like a couple centimeters up. Imagine if it just came up from like out of the skybox and it was like an actual...
Yeah.
That'd be crazy.
Oh, yeah.
I think I'm excited for this. I think moves are, like, the fact is there's like thousands of different moves, and how they interact with each other and how they interact with Pokemon. That sounds like a really big challenge that the company's trying to overcome. I do hope there is variety. Like, how is Surf different to Water Gun? Is it just more? If so, I'm going to be like, oh, well, that's a bit lame. But if each move feels individual and like there's a reason to use one over the other, yeah, okay, Surf is just going to be a higher damaging, like Water Gun move. But like the nature of the move, I think it should enter the field differently. It should have a different area of effect and that kind of thing. That's my hope.
I feel like there'll be some that are a little bit lackluster and some that are epic. It's funny that we're talking about this because I just put out a tweet today where if you let this play, Dusty, I don't know if it'll get there, but the part where Mega Charizard X like does an outrage attack, it's like completely wild and new. And I think that just because this like they had to change everything for the battle system. So I think that they had to make new move animations for almost all of the moves as well. It just hit today.
Yeah, it's a great point.
So it's kind of wild.
I'm wondering too if like how interactive it'll be with like the Pokemon, because like one thing I love about like the anime is you'll see Pokemon use moves in different ways, right? Like Charizard spits a flamethrower out of its mouth like a dragon, but Tepig actually like snorts out a flame like through its nose, and I wonder if there'll be things like that.
That'd be a big ask. I mean, it'd be cool.
Yeah.
But I feel like that kind of detail is like
it makes me think. It's like what Toby said, where like if they had done this sooner, it makes me think about the future, and like eventually we could get there, you know, and that's an exciting thought.
On that thought, I do
crave.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Can you imagine like Pain Split or something? Kind of going off of what you're saying, Lumi, I think what we could see, what we might see in this game, is actually an advantage sometimes to using moves that we typically see as weaker, like Fire Spin, like Ember, right? Something like maybe the difference between Flamethrower and Fire Blast is like more mid-range, way more powerful, and has like a wider spread, where Flamethrower can like hit Pokemon at a far distance, but it's a little bit, you have to be more precise in that way. And maybe Ember is something that where your attack gauge, you can just kind of like spam those, right? They're very short range, they're quick, they're not very powerful, but you can kind of fire those off. I could see a meta developing where some of those weaker moves are actually more advantageous. So you have a Mega Charizard X with an Ember for some reason, you know? And I think what that does is it kind of ties it more closely to that experience that we see in the anime, you know? Which is kind of cool.
Yeah. And like...
Yeah. Sorry, go on, Amy. Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, like, just bouncing off that, like, I think that is something where this game has the potential to really, like, blow our minds.
Yeah.
The idea of like, cool, well now I have to try every single Pokemon and every single move combination because I just want to know like how these things are different. And like, again, because the Pokemon are going to have some kind of stats, right? They're going to have like speed stats, even if it's just that. So I don't know, I'm just picking Pokemon out of the air here. Like a Charizard versus a Litleo, their speed is going to factor into how fast they move around the field, hopefully, and like interact. Maybe we're reading too much into it and overhyping too much as to what this battle system is. Yeah. But based on what we saw in the trailer, it kind of looks like that's what they're going for. And if that is, that's actually the biggest achievement in this game.
Y'all correct me if I'm wrong, because we've been talking to so many people lately, but I think it was Hoops said on Saturday, we streamed with him, and he said, I'm actually going to use non-damaging moves now. And that is such a fun idea that, like, now, like, when it says, oh, your Totodile's trying to learn Growl. Like, ordinarily, I'm like, screw that, Totodile, you don't need Growl.
But maybe it's a good move.
I'm going to be like, I wonder what it does here. And so I'm going to teach it Growl to see what it does at least. You know, that's going to be so fun.
Absolutely.
The one that got me really excited in the trailer was the Stealth Rocks. Like, I think seeing that and just the move is called the same thing. It, in terms of how we sort of mentally think about it and imagine it, it looks the same, but what it's doing, how it's functioning is totally different, and that breathes so much new life into this experiment of theirs, and I'm excited to see them experiment, really, really. So I'm, you know, I know I came in caveat first, because this morning I watched this, Moist Critical did a video about Pokemon.
Yeah, no, I watched that last night. Yeah,
and I don't disagree with you know, most people will have seen it. I don't disagree with them at all. But I will also take off that cap and say, no, I agree when it comes to the gaming world. This game is like so behind where it should be. But as a Pokemon game, it definitely looks like it's leaning towards being the experiences like Legends Arceus that I've preferred. Yeah. And I don't agree with him that it's necessarily gone backwards. Like, I think I don't know. I see something that maybe isn't there.
Yeah, criticism of this game is totally fine. Criticism of most things is fine. I think what you have to focus on is, like, what is actually fun about this game? Is this game going to be fun? If it's fun, then that's fine. Like, it doesn't need to be this, like, star-studded, you know, AAA game. You know, even though
I'm imagining
very technically
it's like what Soul said too, where Soul, you know, you had said there's probably going to be things that we really like about it, and there's probably going to be things that we're really not. You know, it's their first time trying this type of battle system, so I imagine, there's going to be things that when we play it, you know, we're going to be like, that was a choice, but there's going to be so many things. It's the potential, like, you know, like Toby, you were talking about all these different ideas for how you could see it going, and like, if nothing else, if it's not in this game, I think it's something that they can implement next time they try this, and the next time, and it'll grow and expand, and eventually we will get that system. And honestly, I am excited to kind of grow with these games, right? To kind of play it, and the next one is exciting because now this does this. Like, I just randomly had the thought of, like, are we going to get double teamed to work like in the anime where, like, you actually have
where you have like
copies.
Multiple
copies,
right? That would be so cool. If
so
Pokemon,
cool.
Again, I feel like we should already be there. Like, I do feel like I might maybe I'm just hopping copium, right? But like, my thing is, I really enjoyed the catching system in Legends Arceus. Like, I thought that was really, really fun. This just looks like it's going to be more of that, but now with this more engaged battling system, and like, I don't know, I think there's so and now that we know Champions is coming out, they've got so much room to just experiment with battling, and like, main series going forward, battling could totally change to be more anime-like, which personally I'd be a big fan of. What about you, Lockstin? What were you making of it all?
I mean, pretty much the same points. I've always hoped for a more anime-like game, even as just a spin-off. Just because my gaming horizons are vast and broad, and I've just always wanted Pokemon to just kind of reach the same level, because like, it's my favorite world in terms of world building. Yeah, it's just always been a little lacking in the gameplay department for me. Maybe that's just because I'm not into like the competitive side of it, but still, it's exactly the kind of thing I've wanted them to do for so long.
Okay,
and you are giddy with excitement.
Yeah, Lockstin, you are like Legends, like that kind of action element did excite you, because I know like you really do have a divide with Pokemon fans. Every time I post a video about Legends, I get it at least, you know, 30% of the comments honestly are people going, no, I hated this. And I've talked to people who were like, no, it's not Pokemon. It's not Pokemon. You know, like, that's not the Pokemon I played. You know, so you are in the camp, Lockstin, where you're like, you know, this is the direction we should go.
To experiment. Experimentation is always really fun. I understand the appeal of having something to go back to that's familiar. But that's not me.
Yeah.
Like I'm always wanting to try something new, which is why like, you know, I'm a PokeTuber, but Pokemon is like maybe 2% of what I play.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Sure.